Recording in progress.
Okay, recording at my end too.
Continue. Okay, so another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a picture of everyone, so that way I have pictures for YouTube. So let's see. Oh, I can't get rid of Jenny. Sorry, Jenny.
Not for me, Tessa.
I was gonna try and get rid of you because you're a green phone and put with someone else, but I can't change that. Alright, I'm gonna take a couple. Hold on. Smile. Can you smile?
No.
1, 2, 3. Oh, watch your hands. We don't want that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm sure we got one.
He's like, no, I'm not trying to do all this.
I know.
All right, ladies, just to let you know, I am here as the host. But this is, again, as I've explained to all of you guys, and some of you guys are here multiple times, I am simply the host. And right now, especially, I have had to back off from trading a little bit because I have a lot going on in the background. I'm still watching everybody. I'm still watching everything going on, just not able to actively get into my accounts and trade because at this point, with the little time that I have to commit to it, I need the best setups. So if I'm not able to get into those best setups, then I'm kind of just letting it be. And I'll just sit in the background and watch for the day just to be safe with myself. So
yeah, and I think that's a great idea because with the slower market, I mean, that's the best way to start growing our accounts in the first place is focusing on those A+ setups where we can use either normal size or gain confidence. So I think that's great that you're doing that. Hi! How are you? Oh my goodness! You made it!
What do we have here? I just let in a couple of new people, but I only see Zoom user.
Okay, so you have to finally clear it. Is it sorry or sorry? How do you pronounce sorry?
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
Sorry. Okay, I can't roll my R's, so sorry.
Awesome. All right, well, let's give you your official name up there. There we go.
SARI.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, I am so excited that you're here tonight. I've been watching you in the background for so long now.
Can you say hi?
I know it's so great to have all these female and we support each other.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a growing group, and that's an amazing thing. Ladies, we literally added 13 more of us just over like the last week. So it would be great if all of us could be here because I think we're up to like 36 now at this point.
Wow.
And maybe at some point, yeah, we'll all get one great big screen. It'll be looking like a ticker screen with 30 something of us up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I know it's
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. No, I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you guys for being able to take a few minutes, whether it's a few minutes or the whole 2 hours tonight to be here. And I know we have a few topics that we all want to talk about. And I will be in and out. That's what I kind of started to say. I will be in and out, kind of like muting myself. So don't stop talking just because you see me blank out. Just everybody keep the conversation going, okay?
Hi, guys.
Hello, Lori. How are you?
I'm Lorena. I couldn't figure out the audio. Now I can hear you guys. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. This is so exciting.
Yes, happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much. I saw a couple of, actually, no, I saw one episode and I'm like, I gotta get myself on this group.
I love it.
I'm very happy that I got, it was worth the wait. Let's put it that way.
Beautiful.
I agree with you. I feel in the same way. Like I gotta be there too. So
right?
Here we are.
Yay! And Gina?
I've been in the challenge for 1 year, and I've been kind of lost because I didn't find like I live in Toronto and I couldn't really find a support group. Like I didn't even know where to look. So this for me, it's like the cherry in the cake. It's perfect.
I'm a little bit over a year too.
Yeah, me too.
Nice. How do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like you're behind or you should be ahead? Rough.
Learning at my own pace, I think. Yeah, so.
It is a lot of information, right? For sure.
A lot of information, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
it's like never-ending information.
Yeah. Well, I always find new stuff too, because I research something and it opens up a rabbit hole of something else. So I'm always studying and looking stuff up, and it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but definitely over a year, it's even though we might feel like we're missing a lot or we're behind. If I look back a year ago, I knew nothing. So it's pretty. I'm pretty amazed sometimes when I look back and I say, listen, a year ago I didn't even know what support resistance was.
Yeah, right? It's a great feeling.
Yeah, me too.
Or what's shorting, and I couldn't grasp the concept. Even though I had to listen to it a few times. I'm like, what do you mean covering? I don't understand what this guy's saying. But now it's much easier, right? It's just repetition. So
Well, I had no clue what options were, and then here Jenny and Sorry are killing it.
I still don't know. I still don't know what options are. So.
She's crazy. Stacy makes so much money on AMP today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a story behind that. So basically, when I first started with Mark, I had no idea how to trade options. I mean, there's one point in on my training. There's one where I accidentally took a nap and I forgot to sell, and it was a solid win. Do you remember that? Sorry.
Yeah.
And then there
was it was the third days that when the first time that I started the trading option, I was like, I want to press the button. I'm so scared. I swear I'm so scared. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to try one position. And then I was like so eager to get out, and I won a little bit. And then the third days, I won $18,000 on Netflix.
No way.
I did. It was over the overnight earning after hours, and the next morning I was like selling it right away, and then it was still putting up. I won 18,000. It's unbelievable, and of course, days later, I got too cocky, and like Tim said, don't get cocky, and I was like overconfidence. I was aggressive, and I lost like 15,000.
Oh no! But you know what? That's what teaches you, I guess, right?
That's a good lesson. Yes,
it's a good lesson. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, are you and Jenny almost millionaires yet?
No.
the
thing is that when I started trading, I was a foreign trained dentist, and I had to go to school, and it took me a long time, like 20 years later, that I finally got accepted into dental school here to start over. So after I finished my residency, I became a pediatric dentist, and I started working, and then COVID happened, and the office closed, and here I go, like, oh my gosh, all this schooling is so scary. I have 2 kids, a divorce. I got out of an abusive marriage, and I was so proud that I got out of it. And then I started to be really scared. So I was looking at my option. I had no idea about any economy, any stocks. I only know retirement account. I have no idea what they put in it. I don't know what is ETF or what. Everything is like brand new. And then I signed up for Robinhood because I searched internet, what is it, the easy way to get into trading. And I signed up for Robinhood, and then I started searching more, and I look at YouTube, and I found Timothy. And I signed up right away, and I was like, okay, if I'm paying tuition for my master's degree and my residency, I can afford $6,000. So I signed up right away, and I studied, and I started trading. And it was like 3 months that the office closed, and then in May I got sued by my ex-husband over COVID. My kids didn't want to see him, so it was like I could afford it because I was trading, but I didn't have any income. So So I found the best lawyer and I pay for it, and then it just makes me realize that this is my backup plan. I mean, there is nothing is really job security.
It's something that you can always have.
Taken away from you, right?
Something that you can always have on the side. That's what I like about it, because you can always have it on the side, right? Whatever you guys do.
Yeah. What if you got sick? What if you're disabled? This is like, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn. Everybody's getting better after 3 years. I'm gonna start from now. And I study like crazy. I study like 18, 20 hours a day during the COVID quarantine. I had no idea what is long, short. There was like, everything is brand new. And I'm like, wow, a lot of information. And then I got too more aggressive, and I started, you know what? I started to get addicted to it. And
it is pretty addictive, though.
Yeah, again, the office got busy.
It's like a cool video game.
Yeah, I felt like I'm just like jumping into, like, I have to make any trading, but then I kind of, if you see my chart, there's a time like in January, December, I stopped trading because I would be trading at the office and I would check on the patient hygiene, and I lost like 500.
Oh no!
Second, like, I was like, you know what? This is not happening to me.
It's not working. No.
Especially the market is kind of crazy. I mean, earning, they have a good earning, but then the market tanked. It was like unbelievable. Yeah. And I started to say, like, what?
Well, look for some friends, my love.
Good. Yeah.
I tell you to.
Yeah, that's the best. So I started to kind of control myself, self-discipline. Now I'm trading at lunchtime when I can see the market, and then I before I jump in.
Somebody's outside.
Now I got it to be more like constant winning after learning slapping on the face several times. Not like Jenny. Jenny's like crazy. She's stay-home mom, and she's so smart.
I'm on this meeting.
She has an avocado farm now too.
Yeah.
Which I have avocados in my kitchen. I wonder if they're yours.
Avocado.
Yeah, after a year, I think my pace is now that I have to trading every day, just like a little bit, and then only get in when you know it's. So.
I have a question for you. So how do you trade at lunchtime, like during the midday lull? Are you Eastern time? Like, I feel like that's a hard time to get into a trade.
Yeah, I'm on the Eastern time. I'm in New York. So when it's 9:30, I usually with the patient, and I keep looking, and I'm watching. I look at into just a few tickers that I know I'm familiar with the price action. Like right now, I'm more familiar to NVIDIA for Tesla, and I'm watching it. So I'm kind of guessing, knowing where the price action is during the day. It's not 100%, but for Tesla, if you see it's down for the day, and you see the red ticker, usually it's gonna go down. So I was watching, and then during lunchtime when I feel that I can get in, and I get in just for a few minutes, and I make money and get out, and I'm done for the day.
What's an average position size for you? Since you said on like your first trade you made 18,000, what kind of size are you taking?
Yeah. It was at that time I put about 5,000 in there.
5,000?
Right.
You made 18?
That was an option.
I was so much.
Oh, right. 300% gains and
it was
stuff,
earning.
right?
So after hours, it shoot up, and I make 18,000.
That is incredible. Okay, so another question. You and Jenny started making money like right off the bat, it seems like. The one thing Tim says that most traders shouldn't do. So
yeah, baby, let me know.
You said you guys were studying quite a bit.
So
how were you studying? Like, was it watching video lessons? Is it like actually printing out charts? How?
The first month, the one that I was quarantined for 3 months, I studied all of his videos. And then on the top of it, I also look at the price action. I'm learning about the candle price action. There is a good one, Wise Trader, WYSE Trader. It kind of like telling you what is the chart looking like, when it's about to come down, when it's about to peak, when it's about to reverse, and then you kind of see where it is. But now I'm starting to find sometimes you have to follow your gut. Like, okay, this is gonna go down, this is gonna go down, and I'm being stubborn, and of course it went down, right? So I think I learned much more from like more other YouTuber, and I not only from Tim, I learned so much from Wise Trader, and I bought one of his programs. It's about learning how to do. And then Tio, I think he does a lot of forex, and then other people that I thought, and the warrior trading. Sometimes I watch him.
Oh.
He's also like Tim. He likes to donate. He's a prophet, and he does a lot of live trading on YouTube. But I can't do it all the time because I'm working, obviously. But yeah, sometimes if I have something in between and I see a good trading, and I will jump in like 4 minutes. Like 2 days ago, I went on the video and I got like 64 or 80% of profit. And I stopped 4 minutes. I'm done getting $1,000. That's it. And I'm good for the day.
And that was options?
$1,000 a day?
Right. And then if it's like, if it's 500, who cares? But I'm less aggressive than before because I only have like a certain amount of time. And I can wait, and I don't want it to be holding bags, and most of the time I'm just cash account.
And at the end of the day, a win is a win.
Right.
That's what you want, right? For your account to grow. I have a question. I'm not profitable at all yet. In fact, I've been trading. Now I'm on a break because I lost $600 from my account. I have a small account, $2,300. Mm-hmm. And I lost $600. I was losing, and then I just haven't been able to find my edge yet. So I went back to basics, and I'm back to reading and watching videos, and I watch a lot of Mariana's videos, and a lot of them Roland Wolf's. I'm trying to just watch as much as I can. But I have a question. In terms of prepping, because this is something that I kind of go back and forth. In terms of prepping, do you guys think prepping for your dating trade, is it better to do it the night before, or is it better to do it the morning off? Because I feel like if you do it the night before, things might change a lot overnight, maybe. Like, yeah. So something that I'm always in between. I don't know which one is better. Like, what do you guys?
I would say for me, initially when I was losing all the time, I was trying to jump on the latest, greatest the next morning. So like whatever was up, high percent, okay, I'm going to try to trade that, right? I have found I became profitable once I started to trade stocks that had already made a run, and now we're either pulling back or they were at a different place in like the Tim Sykes framework than the initial run.
Are you talking made a run on that same day, or just in general?
On a different day.
Okay.
So like if it's just a stock, for me personally, if it's a stock that's just popping up on that one day, I personally probably won't trade it, but that's not my edge.
Right.
So I find that following one ticker through its whole process and trading it multiple times. So like I'll wait for the big run up, and then maybe I'll buy the breakout, and then I'll buy the dip buy, and then I'll try to do the first green day after it's already had its big pullback. That type of kind of like what Mariana does as well. And I'm not good at all of the different steps. I'm trying several of them. But I found that once I stopped changing the ticker that I was looking at each morning to trade, and just decided the day before, okay, this is what I'm interested in, and this is the one that shows me the most potential, and just stuck to that and stuck to my plan with that, I ended up being more profitable because I was more prepared.
Yes, because I find that I've done it when I do my prep the night before. Let's say I choose 2 or 3 tickers, right? Not a lot. I don't want to be too crazy. And then I choose everything. I do my plan. I set up everything on my paper. And then in the morning when I wake up, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and there's so many new ones, and you kind of get like distracted by everything else that's going on, and it's hard to stick with what you already planned. So that's why I was wondering, like, I guess I have to find it my way, but it's good to hear other people's opinion or however other people do it, right?
Well, I know that Nate Michaud from Investors Underground, a lot of times he says that sometimes the easier trade is not to follow the stock that everybody's in.
The shiny object.
The shiny object. Yeah, that's how he says it. Yeah. The shiny object a lot of times is the harder stock to trade versus maybe something you already had on your plan and that you were prepared for, that's moving smoother, that you're already familiar with. So
I see.
I agree with you because I sometimes, everybody sign up for as the stock to trade, right? But then for me, I tried several times, but sign up for it. But because I'm working full time and I just recently preparing for the board exam, so I don't have time to watch it every single time with this stock to trade. So right now I'm just using whatever. If you have Webull, they do have the screener and they're gonna tell you what is the highest percentage in that morning. So I usually wake up around like 4 o'clock and I'm looking at what is the pre-market, and usually that's what I base on what I wanted to play that morning, and I follow it. And because I work at the house around 7:15, and I usually, if it's a good run, I would play, because we will play in the morning, like 4 in the morning. And I did that, but it's not all the time because a lot of times I didn't wake up at like that 4 o'clock. But then I also check on FinViz, and then you will see the map, and you will see what ticker has the news, has the losing or winning, and I usually follow that along in the market, and I usually just pick. I think I like the framework the team has, and I just follow whatever instead of like going with the hype. I usually not really good with the meme stuff, but AMC is pretty good today.
Yeah, so I just want to butt in real quick since Jenny had to leave us. She's messaging in the group girls chat, and I just wanted this for like the video since I was asking about Sari's strategy. Jenny said that her strategy is buy near the 52-week low and swing, set a budget, don't use your set budget all at once, but some, and if the stocks pull back, you have money to buy more to average down. Someone asked if she uses Paul's strategies. I think she does use some of Paul's. She says she has a separate account for her swings and her days or her longs. For cheap swings, she buys the really cheap ones. She says, I buy one a week or when it's down. The few cheap stocks I bought and solid win was OCGN, GAGX, CTRM, and many more. I use my mentor's strategies and applying it on my trades. Always have an entry-exit plan, never ever chase. I take profits as I get through my swings. So I just wanted to throw that on there since we asked Jenny about that, but she had to go. So that was her input on her strategies.
Yeah, and then she also follow Paul Scholardy for the swinging, so he's very good in it. I signed up for just to learn a little bit, and then but I think I'm not a person that I will be very patient like Jenny, and she would hold it until it really gained for me. My heart is jittery when I have so many, because I only do with the iPad and the phone when I'm trading, because most of the time I'm at work and I don't have the good setup, and so having multiple screen, it just doesn't work for me. So I can't have more than two 2 trades in a day, or at
Sorry, what platform do you use to trade?
So I like to see the trading view right now. I check it once in a while, but when I'm actively trading, I'm with the TD Ameritrade, and I really like the charting. And I put some stud in it. I usually use the Bollinger Bands and SMA, and then I check on the RSI as well, and the MACDs. I kind of like looking at it, but most of the time now I'm more looking into how high the ticker, and I look at the different ticker, like 5 minutes, 1 minute, and then 10 minutes, and you sometimes can see it better where the price action is gonna go.
I have a question. Can I?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first, I want to say thank you, Tessa, for telling me about the group and inviting me. And I have a really small account. It's like $1,300. So I'm just curious, like, if anyone else started with that much. And I feel like I want to be like really aggressive, like trade like a lot, like my whole account. But I know I'm not supposed to. So I'm just curious, like, what you guys like, what you would risk.
Well, with the Webull, I started with 3,000. So I put Webull 3,000, and then now it's about 21,000 now. But I be trading like 1 or 2, only the really, really good one that I know. And then if it doesn't work the way I like it, I just cut loss right away. And then because of the PDT rule, I got over it one time, and I becoming my old habit, becoming really aggressive, and then have multiple. Oh my gosh, I have to close all of them, and I asked for forgiveness, and I said just one time only. Now I'm really stick to it. So
well, I'm not in the States, so I don't have the PDT, which is fantastic.
That's lucky.
No, I got scared when I first joined. I said, "Oh my PDT, this is so," But then I found out in Canada they don't have this, so I was fine. But I actually started when I first started, I had $1,500.
Wow.
And I didn't want to go too high because Tim always says you should trade with, like, at the beginning, very small, very conservative, right? Because have in your mind that you're going to lose, because this money that I have in my account, I think, okay, this money that I have is just to practice and to test myself and to find my edge. So I would just probably put in like 5 to 10%, depending on the price of the stock, right? If it's a stock that's like $1.50, I would adjust it accordingly. As opposed to a stock that's $5, I would, but no more. I wouldn't put more than 10% because I only have $1,500, right? So I was nervous, hesitant to put more than that. I didn't even want to put half of it but that depends on how aggressive you are to play and how confident you are, right? But I mean, I'm not as experienced, but that's my experience with having like a small account. I don't even reach 3,000 yet because, like I said, I've lost. But the trick is to stick with it.
I think the thing is, until you know what your edge is and you're profitable, it doesn't really. I guess I would risk very, very little until you're positive you're winning more than you're losing.
Yeah.
So whether that's even you're risking $1 or $2 or $10, adding more size won't make you profitable. So I feel like till you know that you're consistent, I would risk very, very little of that money. And
like I'm losing and then I'm winning and I'm losing and then I'm winning. So like I'm right where I always was. Like I'm not continually growing and I'm not continually, losing. So it's okay, but
and that just takes time.
I hear you. You kind of want to keep moving, but it's like you move one step and then you go back 2 and then you move 1.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it's part of the process, right?
If you win more than you lose, then you're okay. You just have to cut your loss.
As long as your winners are bigger than your losers.
Yeah, so,
Really, take your profit and get out, because usually if you wait, I'm waiting more and I lose it, because today on AT I end up getting, like, I put a little bit and I gained like $1,500 and I didn't take the profit, and then it went down, and so. Lesson learned again and again and again. But if you want to learn somebody who's very consistent, I really heads up for Tessa. She is just amazing. Her knowledge is unbelievable, and self-discipline. And for me, I don't have that, and I'm still have to learn about that self-discipline. Now I'm trying not to be greedy. I have to cut down the addiction of trading. This is,
you know what? I admire the fact that you are aware of
yes,
the things that you need to improve on. So it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you have to know your
aware, you can get better at it.
Right. And if you got upset, if you got jittery, you're not gonna do a good trading. You have to be really have a peace of mind. I think I have a discussion with Doc Bryan. He's a good friend, one of the first friends that
I love him.
Yeah. And he's so generous. My kids love him. My son got in the hospital. We come back, on the way back, he sent him a gift card. He's just so sweet. And we talk about, and we discuss about, if you don't have a peaceful mind, you are not going to do a good trading. That means that you cannot be greedy. You cannot be having like this, I need to pay back my loan. Don't think about it. Whatever you lost, forget about it and start over. Don't ever think of, oh, you know what, I'm winning this much. Like you already, let's say you're winning 5% of the profit. And then I wanted to make it up because I wanted to make up the loss that I had before. Then you will never gonna go there because you're gonna end up losing more than winning. So that's what I learned too.
Yeah, he's incredible to talk to. I wish I would have thought about recording these videos when I have spoken to him in the past. I'll need to make another video with him and get it posted to YouTube because he is so intelligent, just like yourself, and he's just so amazing to just talk to and refresh yourself about everything. And when you're talking about discipline, every time I found that myself undisciplined, like I have Trader Sync, my trading journal, and I went through my trades from a year ago when I first began, and I thought I knew what I was, or had an idea of what I was doing because I'd always see Tim Sykes dip buy. So I was trying to find all these dip buying opportunities, and looking back at those trades, I have no idea what strategy I was just trying. I was just buying random dips, and it shows. And I even tracked it as NA, not available for the setups, and that I just lost. It goes downhill. Sorry for my lisp, I have aligners in. But with like this spike consolidation spike pattern that I've been just zeroing in on, which is like the swizzle and the gun chart, whatever you want to call it, I can really identify that. And AMC today even had that into the close. Now I only got one share of the stock because it was so high priced, but just seeing how it was trading like a penny stock, it would have been ideal to sell into strength. But the whole having consistency and staying disciplined, I have the confidence to size up now on OTC stocks when they have that pattern. I'm upping from $700 to $1,000, which will cover commissions and slowly grow my account, unlike the quickness of Sari and Jenny. But having that discipline,
oh my gosh, she's amazing.
but that discipline really does help you gain that confidence and being able to track that trade and identify it. I even have a whole bunch of chart patterns printed out, so that way I can even study them. You can see it, you can clearly identify it, and just that repetition makes a humongous difference. And that's also something that I learned from Mariana. She was, when we first spoke, when she was at like 70,000 in profits, we were comparing our watch list, and a lot of our ideas were the same, but she was able to teach me a little bit more into Tim's 7-step framework, and I think Karen can agree with that. She's been helping us with like the first or the second green days on the dips or the morning spikes, and just a really in-depth consistently with the 7-step framework. And it's that discipline that's incredible. And just thought I'd throw that out there because that honestly has made a huge difference with me and has allowed me to now start sizing up. And I have my second green month in a row. Dollar wise, in the past I've been green percent wise, but using like $500 position sizes or less on OTCs, you have to have like a 15% profit in order to cover commissions and break even. So I've been having dollar losses in the past, but because I've been tracking the percentage with consistent patterns that I can identify consistently, I can size up, and now it's just gravy from here. Since you guys were talking about small accounts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Once you're so confident with your pattern, it's just a matter of sizing up after that. So finding what is your criteria for a trade and sticking very disciplined to, okay, I will only trade my setup with my criteria, and then building on that. Because like a lot of these big traders, they really only are trading 3 or 4 setups, and they have really, really well-defined setups and really well-defined like entries, how they're going to enter the stock. And then they're just sizing up on those setups that they know so well.
And not chasing. Mariana's being huge on us for not chasing. And because in our chat, you'll hear me say, oh, I missed this, Phil. I'm not chasing it. Or no trades for me, even though there were tons of setups. And then you get some of the girls in there, they're like, oh, I'm just going to chase this a little bit. And I'm like, no, stick to the discipline. You're starting bad habits. And they're like, oh, yes, no chasing. It's a great group. And then Karen, she's amazing at asking questions.
I probably asked way too many questions, but
so sorry. I have a question, girls. It's something that I struggle with because I went back when I lost my $600. I decided to sit down and write down, like Mariana said, write down every single trade. I have maybe like 120. I sat down and I wrote down every single trade, like the ticker, the date, what did I do? Did I have a plan? Most of them, I did not have a plan, and all of them, I didn't have risk to reward. And that's something that I'm struggling right now, the risk to reward. Like, how do I cannot grasp the idea how to calculate it or how to, like, does anybody have any ideas on how to, like, set the risk to reward?
I don't know if you can see this, but let me try. So you see the sideways line right here, and it gets really close? That would be a good risk level. And then this one's not very good, but there's usually more volume coming in down here, and then you would enter somewhere around there. So you have very minimal risk if you're right there and it's really defined, and then your reward, you're aiming either for something like that little spike or it to go up here. So you'd lock in some profits on this spike, and then you if they pull back and you have smaller size, you can move your risk up to that new level, because if I had the lines drawn, which I've been slacking on, you would see that that's a new good risk level, and then if it broke below that, that's a trend change, and you would ideally cut, and you could have you're still profitable, or you can hold whatever size or even add and then sell into strength. I mean, just for a basic chart.
So what interval is that? Is that a daily?
Day 1 minute, intraday.
Intraday.
Okay, it's a daily 1 minute?
No, an intraday. Like it'd be 1 day's worth.
This was the daily.
Okay.
So it was the first green day.
I think the thing with risk is finding a support level that you feel you can trust. So maybe it has supported at a certain area for an hour or 2 hours, or it has supported there for multiple days.
Right.
And so most traders are seeing the support levels if they've extended for a period of time and saying, if that breaks, I'm out. And so if you're looking for those support levels and setting your risk there, then you're trying to enter as close to that risk as you possibly can. And so maybe that means you wait for that pullback. If you know that's what you want to risk, if that level means the trade is broken, you want to try to get in as close to that risk as you possibly can, to give you the better risk reward. I know for me, like when I first started, I would only buy once I saw everybody else was buying and it was spiking, because I didn't want to be in I didn't want to be in not knowing if the stock was going to go my way.
Right.
But then my risk reward was always off, because I was chasing with everybody else, and then I was buying the top. Then when the people who are in early sold to me, right? And then I'm panic selling on the way down, right? So knowing where those levels are at and trying to get in earlier so that you can anticipate the spike that might be coming.
Yeah, but then there's another thing with anticipating, like it's good to anticipate breakouts. One thing that Mariana really taught me, because I was doing that, I was anticipating when it would spike, it would consolidate for a little bit in the morning, and then I would buy in like, okay, it's sideways, it's gonna go up, and this was like just any kind of day, more so during the hot market back then, but it would spike, it would consolidate, I'd buy in that sideways and figuring, oh, I'll just wait a little bit and then it'll spike. Well, a lot of the stocks I would buy in, it would almost immediately panic right after I got in, and so I'd be cutting just for it to rebound, go sideways a little bit longer, then spike up. So that's where, like Karen was saying, I've learned, and Tim Grattani, and I think in Trading Tickers too, talked about that spike consolidation lasting at least an hour, not 45 minutes, but an hour, to increase your odds. Just like sorry, I'm throwing out my charts this way, but this one, it consolidated for an hour right in here. And then if you buy into that volume spike, which is kind of an anticipation, but it does a lot with what Karen was saying, and then you could risk VWAP. Some people risk VWAP, and then you sell into strength again. I know a lot of the anticipation does have to do with what kind of setup you're trying to buy. Because like on second green days, when it's doing a morning spike, you see the bid stacking, you have to kind of think like, okay, I need to get in with the bid stacking. Otherwise, if the market opens and the stock's already going, like Karen said, they're going to be selling into your entry. So anticipation, it depends a lot on your setup, but it is huge when it does work out. But it's good to be disciplined and pay attention.
Ladies,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. So I have so many questions, because I've been every night I've been looking at the percentage gainers and just looking at the charts, and I find that a lot of the stocks that, let's say, they spike in the morning and then they dip a little bit and they consolidate throughout the day, and they form this channel. I feel like those are great setups to buy once the stock goes, like, let's say it breaks the high of that channel. It's a good place to go in, and then you have that support as your risk. But those are usually like afternoon setups, I'm noticing, like after 1 o'clock. So I feel like I'm gonna lean towards that, because I see a lot of that lately, like towards the afternoon.
Yes, and for a while that setup was not working at all. Like for March, April, like you'd have these big spikes in the morning, and then they'd pull back, consolidate, and then dump at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was happening a lot for a month and a half. Now I feel like they're starting to come back. That's a setup that Matt Monaco really likes. So if that's something that you're wanting to learn, I would go back through his Twitter and like look at all his charts
and
that
small
he has
cap
posted.
Rockets.
What's that?
Small cap rockets is if you actually want commentary and stuff, like more not one-on-one, but teaching from him.
Yeah, but you have more access to him.
So
if you do small cap rockets. Otherwise, I think he still might be accepting messages on Twitter, but make sure it's him and not an imposter. But sorry, Karen, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Everybody.
You can stop.
Sorry, you guys talking about the breakouts in the afternoon? That's the setup that we are talking about, or no?
I guess you could I guess it could be a breakout. We're talking more like when a stock creates a channel throughout the day, like about VWAP, and then it finally breaks the top of the channel and it just picks up.
Okay, so yeah, like a breakout, because yeah, naturally, I know that with another girl in another group, she just like that too, and they were saying in team website that you have to look for like a barcode, like like a setup of a barcode, and if that setup of a barcode is for more than like, let's say, 10 minutes, so like more consolidated is better. In that way, when the breakout is more possibility, the stock can go higher, like faster. I don't know if that's the setup that you're talking about or another one.
Well, there's a lot of different names for it, because some people call them breakouts, like if what Tim Bowen says, it's the VWAP hold high a day break or something like that.
Yeah, that's what
I've seen a lot of people call the stocks saying that they're breaking out when they're just making new highs, versus like when I'm looking for breakouts, I'm looking for breakouts on the daily chart over multiple days, weeks, months, years. So some people get confused with the different breakout terms, and I know that really bothered Tim Grattani. It was a pet peeve of his. Oh, Karen, I do have a question. Did your youngest kid ever put his hands in the toilet, or her hands, his or her?
No, he survived. Okay, so I gotta give you a little backstory, girls, today. So I have 4 children, and they're 10 to 1, and I was babysitting 4 other kids today, so I had 8 children running around, and so I traded AMC a little bit with a few shares, but then when it had its parabolic, I just had to dip. Like, I'm a dip buy lover. I had to dip buy it. Like, there was no like. I just had to. So I was like, I don't care what these kids are doing. I mean, my littlest one was probably, I said, my littlest was probably sticking his hand in the toilet. I have no idea what he's doing. I'm like, I'm buying this dip. So I did end up buying just small 30 shares of the dip buy and flipped it for a quick $4 or $5 profit. But for me, I have, because I have 4 children and they're home with me all the time and they're young. I can't be in a stock like long term. So for me, I'm like dip buy, flip it quick, get out, because there's just so many distractions right now. So anyway, he did not stick his hand in the toilet. We're good. But about 3 minutes, I was like, I have no idea what these kids are doing. So anyway.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, my son was trying to get me to go in and out all day.
It's great that it's really great that, to relate to you guys, because I'm a mom too. I have 2 kids. They're not at home right now. They're at soccer. But it's definitely been rough. I haven't been trading for like maybe 4 months because they're at home with the Google class, and, I work from home too. So I don't really have time to sit down and concentrate and be just at my computer trading. So I'm just basically taking this time to study and, but I really appreciate all the ladies that have kids and they do it from home. It's just like amazing. It's just nice to relate to.
I'm just sitting here in my room and trying to figure out what's my excuse. No.
You work. You're really smart, and you work all the time.
I do work a lot. So actually, I'll have to hop off in a minute. But a couple of you have been asking me about my Profitly and stuff. And so what I did, I canceled my subscription for a valid reason. I was being very much affected by all those buys and all those, chat rooms and everybody popping in everything, the profits. And I was getting really overwhelmed, and I was getting FOMOs and stuff. So I tried to really self-center myself, and that has been working out for me, actually. So I'm trying to really find a way how I trade, because I've been trading many patterns, as you guys mentioned before, and I feel like I was more lucky. I was more lucky. So I've gotten some nice profits, but I want to have deeper understanding. And, I bought more stuff on Udemy. I don't know if you guys know that platform. So I paid for a couple courses to understand, actually, to analyze the charts on a daily basis and the patterns. You know, I've seen all the Tim's DVDs, both of the Tim's DVDs, and I needed more information and being a little more self-centered. So if you guys have any questions, you know, you can always message me on a Twitter. I'm not big. I'm still learning as all of you guys, and I'm amazed by all the work you guys have been, you know, putting in. It's just beautiful how all these moms are just dedicated the time and are able to do it all. So that's in terms of Profit Lead. So I'm not gonna have it for maybe until I reach my personal goal, which I'm gonna keep private for a little bit. But when I reach that goal, I'll hop back on Profitly, and then I'll be updating. But meanwhile, you can just feel free and shoot me a message if you have any.
Sancha always answers too. You always answer, so you're good.
How are you tracking your trades? If Profitly is messing with your head, are you still keeping track of your trades, or just looking at your brokerage account? How are you going about that?
I do have my Excel spreadsheets that are really, really widespread. I have a lot of information, my entries, exits. So I have the percentage. I go really deep. I write down the reasoning why I went to the trade. And, you know, many of them were just like, yeah, it's a runner, but I had no idea why I'm going in. Like, what's the catalyst is behind it, you know, like, why is it running? So I don't like those trades. I really want to be secure in the future and knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's just my mindset. So that's what I'm trying to eliminate. Although I made $2,000 on AMC today.
Congratulations.
Good job.
I did not expect that one. Actually, I saw it running, and I was in AMC 2 days ago. And I could have made way more, actually, but I got out. I actually lost on AMT 2 days ago. I have my target of $100. I never go less than $100 negative, and it went to 150, and I cut it off. If I kept it, I would be like, I don't know, $6,000 right now. But but who would have thought, right? But so today what happened, I saw it just went over the spike, the initial morning spike. It went over VWAP, and I was like, okay, this is a meme stock. This can freaking run, and it did. So that was my story behind it. I just bounced off the VWAP. Yeah.
So you bought it over the high of daybreak?
Yeah, so let me look at the time real quick. It was around 11:19.
Okay.
Yeah.
What gives you conviction? Because I know you take fairly decent size. At least for me, being a small account trader, I feel like it's a really big struggle to take any type of size. But I know that you're fairly good with taking bigger risk. How did you get to that point?
Well, so initially, when I started trading, it was January or February. I got lucky because of the market, right? There were so many runners throughout the day, and I got really confident with that. Once I had a big, so I always go big, but I always have my stop limits really hardcore. So I learned a hard lesson. I have a loss of 800 one day. And I mean, it was really painful. I had to go for a walk and I almost threw up, like it was that bad. So I sat with myself and I said, okay, this is a learning curve for me. How am I not going to do this again? How are we going to learn this? And Mariana actually came out with her video around that time, and she had a major loss, and she mentioned something in terms like, okay, I have a set boundary and I never go over that, and I know exact the limit where I'm gonna stop and cut off. So if it does, so my limit is 100. Sometimes I push to 150, but I'm already upset with myself when I go that far because I didn't stick with my rules.
How much you put in the stock when you reach that 150?
So It's always 150. I know it sounds scary, but no matter if I bet in, no, I'm not going to bet in, but if I put in $1,000 or 2 or 3, it's always 150.
So you're calculating the difference between your entry and your risk level, and then making sure that you buy the right amount of shares to be at 100 or 150 risk. Is that how you do it?
So usually my risk levels are already like down, so I buy off the lows.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my strategies. So if it goes even lower, I know I'm in wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So if it goes up to 150, then I'm not like, okay, I'm totally wrong. So I'm getting out, and then I re-enter. Like I have a cash account, so I rotate my funds on a daily. So I have approximately like 6,000 on a daily basis to trade with. And I think it takes like 1 or 2 days. So they rotate and flow with the funds available. So I divide it. So when I feel like with AMC, like today, I knew I want to go bigger because it's a hype stock. If it's something smaller, like OTC that I'm not as familiar with, or first day runner or something, I'm not going to go as big. I'll try to do like 1 or 2 days.
That makes sense. Okay, so you're just buying closer to your support, so that way you can have a little bit bigger size to risk that $100 or $150, versus buying near the higher of the range where you'd have to have smaller size to be able to risk the same amount.
Yeah, that's something I do. I don't like to go after stocks when they're already high up on a day. Even though, as I think Karen mentioned, the dip buying, I am always scared of that because that's how I burn myself. So I'm really intimidated. Maybe I just needed a little more practice on that one. But yeah, I try to go off the support most of the time.
That makes sense. Yeah. So, Karen, how have you been doing with dip buying? Because I know, like, I tried INCC, I think it was, and the only thing that saved me was the fact that I'm so used to being faked out and entering too soon that I expected myself to make the same mistake, so I just quickly locked it in. Versus you and Mariana today, you guys were dip buying AMC, and you guys got amazing fills where I missed my fill at 62, and you guys were in like before that. Did you wait a second for it to open and it go down? Like, how did you do that?
Okay. So AMC to me felt a little bit different than the typical penny stocks I did buy, because level 2 is so much harder to read. So that was part of the reason why I had less shares than I typically would have on a penny stock, right? But like for me, okay, so with AMC, when it halted down, okay, I had my buy order ready to click. I had it like set to the max price I would pay if it came out of the dip and didn't drop farther.
How did you determine that?
I set it, so I saw where it unhalted.
Uh-huh.
And then I set it about $1.50 above that. So I was willing to risk $1.50 on my 30 shares. So about a $45 risk for me. I am scared of risk. Like, I need to push myself more, and I just struggle with that, right? So for me, I was willing.
What was your entry, Karen? Sorry. What was the entry that you had? I forget.
I didn't take the very first dip buy. I actually tried and didn't get in. So it was the second time that it dipped, and I got in at like 60. It was like 60 and 60 cents or something like that. So I think it was about $1.50 to $2 above the bottom, or above where it unhalted. So Tessa, what I did was, as soon as it unhalted, when I didn't see it immediately drop farther and it hesitated, I went ahead and bought, and then I immediately got my sell ready. So that if it dropped, like within as quickly as I could, I got my sell ready to be right at that low of day. And if it didn't immediately bounce, I'm selling it.
That makes sense. Yeah, that stock, it's so hard with the level 2 on big listed stocks like that. It was going up 60 cents, down 30. All of a sudden, it moved like $1. It was so hard to read that level 2 for me. Oh, go ahead.
It was
sorry.
more the hesitation in the level 2 or after the halt.
Yeah, I started to notice that a little bit.
So typically, after it halts down, if it's going to keep dropping, it typically does it immediately, I have found with NASDAQs.
Okay.
Typically, if it's going to keep dropping, it's down. So I don't know, I've rewatched the GME panic multiple times from back in January, the one that went from like 500 to 100. If you ever want to study a panic dip buy for a NASDAQ, go back and rewatch that on TOS on demand, right?
I'll have to do that.
And that one, every time it unhalted, it just like kept slamming down every single time. So I actually dip balled that one as well. And the time that it unhalted and hesitated, that's when I bought.
Okay, that's good to pay attention to. And a good little note. I'm glad we're recording this.
I think Karen is really good deep buying. I like how to deep buy. Like, I'm really bad at it, but like I've been learning a lot from you. You're really good at it.
Oh, well, thank you. I feel like I'm good at getting the bottom and really bad at holding beyond the first spike. So like I cut myself short. Now in this market, I feel like I've done well cutting myself short because they don't keep going a lot of times. But back in January, February, I'd nail the bottom and sell for 5%, and they'd go like 40%, right? So I'd constantly sell too soon. But I feel like that's kept me safe. I will not chase a dip buy. So if I see the turn on, say on an OTC, if I see the turn on level 2 and I don't hit that bottom by, 0.02 of the bottom, then I just won't take that dip buy. To me, I have to get very, very near the bottom, or I just don't chase it up. I just let it go right through my entry. So that I feel like that's what's kept me safe on those crazy dip buys.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, and I'm the same way with the OTC panic dip buys. I mean, that's what kept me safe with INCC. I take those quick gains, and then if it goes 40%, I'm missing them too. So I have a question for on your options, are you dip buying panics? Because with options, don't you have to trade higher price stocks? I know a lot of gals that were in the last group chat that we were in were talking about options, and I don't think they're here now, but can you tell us a little bit more how you do that? Aren't they a lot riskier than trading normal stocks?
Well, I think for options, you really gain so much. Like today, I look at Tilray, and it's the cannabis, and I look at the option, and I usually either I'm doing it like the same week or the week after, or sometimes I go a little bit further. I like to do the monthly one instead of weekly. For some reason, I learned from somebody said that if you go monthly, you're gonna have a less decaying time. But I have to go more deep into it. I haven't studied so much lately, so much going on, but that's what I did. And then I'm just scalping. So I take the moments of momentum, right? See, because like during the time, like since the market is open, I'm with the patient most of the time, but every time I get a check in between, I always checking where they are, where to see the price action. And then when I'm ready to get in, I know that it's gonna go in my favor. Like my till rate today about 55%. I put like 1,000. I bought 5 contracts, and I got 55% up now.
And how long were you in that option?
For the till rate today, I did it like around like lunchtime, like 1 o'clock. But I do have a faith in it because of the news and what is the cannabis now. It's a little bit hot. stocks, right? But I pick Tilray over ACB, or because I do like the pattern better. It's like I like it more like an uptrend, and I like to have cup and handle pattern, and I like to buy that. And then sometimes if it dip, and I just go, and then but so far I'm keeping this Tilray overnight, and then I see after hour is still going up, so I'm gonna be good in the morning, and usually the next day I sell it, because I learned that the first half an hour of the market open is so choppy. I can't keep up with it because I'm with the patient. So I would rather just lock in my profit and get out and just watch again. And I usually now, to heal my addiction of the trading, I end up just watching. And if I wanted to get in, I have to look at around, like what is the news, what are the people talk about, but then I'm looking at my own, what is I'm comfortable with, and I would just go in and then watch it, and if it doesn't go, and then just cut off. And I usually set up, I don't really follow the risk and reward, but I set up the amount I would be willing to lose about 500 now. And hopefully I'm sticking with it, and I'm still learning to stick with it. Then it's self-discipline. It takes so long. I think the hardest part is just to be disciplined, and I think Stephen Duggs, I watched his video, and he said you just have to close your eyes and click the button and just hold it without any hurt. And it is hard to do, really, because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm losing, maybe it's gonna go up. Like hoping and praying is not gonna work unless you do have a thesis that this price action is good, it's gonna go up or it's gonna go down. And I made good money today with Tesla, using the put option, which is the same as shorting, and I locked the profit. I got $800 today in one of my small account, and it's about, I think, 30 or 40% of the profit that I got.
How many small accounts do you have?
I learned not to be greedy, because like I know it's gonna bounce at one point. Tesla, usually it follows what my thesis is, like usually early in the morning until around lunchtime, and then around like 1 or 2 o'clock it's gonna start reversing. So I've been following Tesla since I started the option, and it's so funny. Me and Jenny was like, Tesla is a religion, but I don't believe that anymore, because like Tesla is going down right now, and before the battery day, we were holding. It was like, it kept going down. We were like crying together. We were holding back. And finally we sold it. We lost so much money. It was crazy. And that we learned that we are now more calm, that when you're losing, it is a loss. Then just have to take it. Because before it was like you're losing, and then you got so upset about it, and then you wanted to pay back what you lost, and now you learn that, okay, you lost, you just have to move on and start over. Yeah,
I think that's one thing with penny stocks, like the really cheap ones, is that I always assume it's going to go to nothing. Like Tim Sykes says, they're just terrible companies. So like I'm there to play the price action, and so if it's breaking below my support, or it's not doing what I think, then it's easy for me to cut it, because I know it's probably not coming back most of the time. But I feel like that's harder with the real companies, because they're a good company, and so you feel like they should come back at some point.
And I do like, during the time that I'm watching the market, I like to, if I start to see the pattern, I draw the line. And then when I see if it's breaking up the line or breaking down the line, I know it's about to go down, and I usually get out, or I'm gonna get into either do the call options or the put option, and it works out with me.
Can I ask you a question about the till rate? You said you did till rate today, midday.
Yeah.
Is that right? So
Yeah.
the option. So I was looking at the chart because I wanted to see what the stock had done today, and so I'm looking at it and it looks like around 2:00 the stock pulled back pretty hard before it took another run. Do the options follow it that closely? Like,
say that again. Following that closely.
So does the option pull back? I don't really know how options work all that much, but
so it's pretty much about the same. So if you see like a 1 minute 1 minute time of the regular the pattern, and the option itself, usually it follow a little bit delay. You kind of know. So I usually, when I do option, this is what works with me. I usually watch the regular pattern. I'm not looking into my time. Before, I always open up my option price action. So I'm watching the candlestick a lot, and I'm not really doing a lot of level 2 because it's all numbers, and I'm more like a visual. So I'm looking into more candlestick and then to see the pattern. And if you learn much more about what is the price action and the candlestick, and you kind of pretty much getting it. And sometimes when you're so stubborn, it's like, I think it's gonna go reverse again, and then you don't follow, and usually you lost.
I was wondering, with that pullback on till rate, did that not scare you out at all, or like was it above your risk level?
Yeah, it is still, I still can take the risk when it's pulled back and I know it's gonna go up again. I usually just keep it. A lot of times that it's good, but if it's kept going down, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting out.
So what convinced you that it would turn around and come back?
Like usually I'm just like $500. Sometimes if I'm really sure that it's just a pullback, but I also looking at not only just 1 minute, I'm looking at 5 minutes, I'm looking at 10 minutes, I'm looking at 15 minutes, and I'm sometimes looking at like an hour or 4 hours. Is why I'm thinking about leaving overnight. And from there I will decide, is it worth it for this pullback, and take the loss a little bit, but not getting out, and I know it's gonna reverse. Sometimes you see multiple time frame, you kind of get an idea where the if it's a bullet market. So not always 100%, but at least this is what you can get, and then you keep watching it, and then if it doesn't go the way you like it, then you end up taking the maximum loss that you can afford for, and move on from there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I have another question on you were talking earlier about let's see. Sorry, I'm reading in chat. It says, can you recap on Tesla on the point you made about when you see the red ticker? Is that at the end of the day? You made a point of when you were in Tesla or going to get in and hold it overnight, you saw the red ticker, and then you take profits the next day. Can you elaborate like how you know it's gonna reverse and you're gonna profit from that?
It's not always happening, but I seldom, like lately, I seldom have an open position, because I like Tim, I like to have more cash position most of the time. And for Tesla, if I see the bad news, like today we have the recall of the Y type and like the other type, and then they're attacking on Elon Musk about his Twitter, and so there's a lot of things that is against Tesla at this time. And then I see it red day, you see like the percentage, I'm following that, and for a lot of time, it works out for me, and I'm just watching it because I've been watching Tesla for quite some time. So if I see the green candle of the day in the morning when it's open, like it's counted as the pre-market, and then you also see that it's bullish because of its green percentage, and I usually like, okay, this looks like it's going to be a bullish day for Tesla, but and I'm keep watching it, and then I'm waiting until when is the right time for me to get in.
Okay, and then so then you talk about you buy the month-long contracts, and sorry, I'm learning about options when friends like you guys teach me about them. So you're still allowed to take profits within the same day, even though you have a month-long contract?
Yes. So even though so the contract is the expiration. So you like for SP 500 index, you can have like not weekly, but a few days, like June 1st and then June 3rd. But for a ticker like NASDAQ stocks like Tesla, they have a weekly and they have monthly. And it's up to you. Sometimes before I always go to what is the nearest expiration, like every Friday they expire, and then I usually buy that. A lot of times because I don't like to hold my position overnight most of the time, I usually do the one it's expired on Friday. And then at any time when I feel like I wanted to lock my profit, I just get out.
Okay, that makes sense.
Follow, but yeah.
We have another question. So, for green tickers, start of the day seems bullish for a call option.
Yes.
And then a red ticker, same for a put.
Right. So okay. I found out if the day ticker, the day candle is red for Tesla, and then it also have a red percentage, and I really like it's a confirmation for me to go put options.
Okay.
Try to I don't follow. Is that something that it works for me, but I'm still learning, and also to learn about how Tesla price action works, and you can kind of observe it and then see how it goes. And then a lot of times what I found out in around like 1 or 2 o'clock or sometimes 3, it just starting to make this consolidation, and then it does reverse. So let's say I set the red candle today for Tesla, and with the red percentage it's a bearish or a put option. And then I would be careful, and now I'm gonna just lock my profit and then let it go the other way around.
Okay, that makes sense. What do you see with your success rate typically?
From the Profitly is about 72% right now.
Oh, nice. So it seems like you trade stocks that you've become familiar with and
right.
And so you just basically do the same thing. You know their personality, that's what I mean.
Right, I picked the ticker that I'm more familiar with the price action. I know about the company. Because of if you do trading option, you're gonna have to be more familiar with their company. It's not like penny stock. You have no idea what it is. You just see the volume, you see the price action. So you don't really care about getting to know this company. But for option, I would like to know more about how much cash they have and just know their products. And like before we had a discussion, like why during the COVID, Home Depot is soaring because everybody doing all this TikTok renovation, they all go to Lowe's and they go to Home Depot, and of course their earning is gonna be awesome, right? So, but lately even though the earning is good, sometimes the market is just unpredictable. So like Tim said, just you're gonna have to honor the market action. So it really doesn't matter. Sometimes you are thinking that it's gonna go up because the earning is good, but it's actually the other way around. So lately I'm not really doing any more earning. I usually wait until the earning and then see the after hour. If it's after hour, and I look at it and I check what is the price, how about the market reacting to it. And usually if it's go down, I end up doing the put option the next day.
That makes sense. So you trade both penny stocks and options. What is the main difference, and how do you treat them differently?
I think it's the same.
Oh.
It's about the same. I mean, like the same pattern, the same price action, and the same what Tim taught us. And if you see, if you try to do option for the SPY index, SP 500, SPY, and if you just pick the option, and the price is about like $1 or $2, so it's kind of like a penny stock.
That makes sense. That's why Tim includes the 7-step framework DVD.
Yeah. Christian.
Sorry.
Sorry, you have to say hello every once in a while.
It's so cute.
He got a new pool sprinkler thing, and that's what I was watching. They put the slide in the pool sprinkler thing, and he's funny. He's soaking wet and cold. But shoot, it's so hot over here right now. I'm not used to the hot weather.
And also, like the only thing that I learned with Jenny, and I also learned with Gladys, Jenny's friend, that if you pick the option, make sure you also remember volume is very important. So you're gonna have to look at what is the volume and what is the interest in that, and then you're gonna have to choose which one you wanted to choose.
So how does volume affect options? Because I know with trading, volume, volatility, liquidity, that's everything.
One time I picked the one, it doesn't have a good volume, and and it just doesn't follow the price action of the real. I was like, this is going up. mRNA, I pick up the volume of 50 only or something. I was just learning, and mRNA goes up and it stays. It doesn't go up much. I was like, are you kidding me? I took the loss. So that's how I learned. Volume is very important to pick what you wanted to pick on the option as well.
So you're saying that the option itself has to have the volume, not just the stock itself.
Right. So if you choose the option, what you have, there are options, different options that you can get, in different expiration day or weekly or monthly. And then you're going to see there's a volume and there's an interest, and then you kind of choose which one that you wanted to get.
Sounds very complicated.
No,
I feel like it's way beyond my brain space.
Well, you have to listen to Doug Bryan. He was going into the delta. I was like, whoa!
He is madness, mind blowing. I know. He'll show me his charts, and he starts getting into detail, and I'm like, I feel like the dumb jock or something in school, and you got this really smart person talking to you about this, and I'm just like, yeah, I know this much because of penny stocks. You are just now I'm great with science and stuff, but options is something different. What's that, Melissa?
Oh, you know what? If you want to learn better, go to the Option Nation. This guy would talk a lot, but you're gonna get an idea if you wanted to understand what option is on YouTube. Option Nation. He's very good, and I watched a million of his videos, and just to get me started. Once you started, I think you've just been more comfortable. and treat it like a penny stock because it's just pretty much the same, and go on with that, and you're gonna be more rewarded with of what you can get in profit percentage. But at the same time, when it's crashed, you can lose all of your money. So that's why I'm less aggressive, and I got less profit now, because I would just put the money that I'm willing to lose all of them.
Isn't that how it's always supposed to be?
Because, like, one time I play with earning, and it's after hour, I lost almost 100% of what I put in the option, because option you only can do on the trading time, right? The trading market time from 9:30 to 4. There is no after hours, there's no pre-market, so you kind of stuck.
So it's like,
okay, because I had read on Twitter, I was reading somebody posting about AMC, and they were talking about the calls and the fact that after hours last night, there were a lot of option people stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that you couldn't get out, and that's why they were talking about the short squeeze today, because of the amount of options that were bought, and those people are all underwater now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you have people trading options, does that squeeze the stock for people just day trading it too? Like, do the worlds kind of combine?
I don't know how it works. I guess when it's the market open, you kind of calibrate it to how much the price end up to be. Yeah, that I don't know. But
I've heard several times over, as I've listened to other things, that the options are not supposed to have a direct impact on the rest of the day traders. But I mean, if you think about it, you're getting 100 shares per each contract. Like, I just find it hard that, and if you have a huge surplus of individuals that are buying options up really quick, I don't see how that can't be affecting it somehow, some way.
I always thought like they were two separate worlds, but now it's like kind of like the Matrix.
I don't know. This was just. I think it was All Day Faders is his name on Twitter. I think is the one that was talking about it. He posts a lot of different charts, but he was talking about all these people being underwater and it squeezing the stock today, or at least the option stock today. So I don't know. I know very little about it, but it was really interesting to follow along and see.
I don't know. I feel like probably it's intertwined to each other. I don't know. It's affecting. If you see there's I forgot what's the name of it. They tell you, okay, there's a lot of calls, really unusual activity for the calls, unusual activities for the put. Sometimes I follow it. Sometimes it just makes sense, but then sometimes it doesn't. So I think you just have to be more disciplined, and if it just doesn't go the way you want it, get out and just get over it. I think it is very hard to do it at the very beginning when you just started, but now I'm over a year now. I'm more, I think I try to be wiser and more disciplined, and there's always tomorrow. Just get out, and there's always tomorrow. There's always another day. It's not gonna go away. Okay, what, you don't want to buy at the very high price because the RSI is. I look at the RSI as well. So if it's too high RSI, I know it's gonna go down. If it's too low, if it's low, then it's time to buy. So I also looking at that too as a factor that when I'm going to get in the trade. And there's always next time. And if it's AMC is going up all the way and it's gonna be a pullback at one point, then this is when you buy the dip buy and go along with everybody else. So
I know Mari always says that with stocks, that's like just cut at your risk, because you can always get back in versus holding that stock and thinking that it's going to come back.
Right.
You can always wait for it to set up again. and
Right.
then just re-enter.
Right. At one point when it goes up, usually when it reached the high of the day, everybody trying to sell it, it's just gonna pull back. This is when you start buying it. Just be patient and watch it and just get in.
So you buy after you've seen it come up to high of day and then pull back again,
and then
buy that dip for another push to high of day or a break through the high of day.
Right. Then I usually, like, if it's for me, if I'm make more than 5%, I'm happy enough, and I just get out. Sometimes I got lucky. Lately I've been lucky. I got like 50%, 60% on my trading, and I got out, and that's it. I'm gonna be happy for the day. If it's $500, that's the $500 I didn't have this morning. So
that's right. Hey, I'll take 50% any day.
Right. But with the option, it's easy to do that because you end up having like a times 100, right? Because one position is like 100, so you kind of like times 100.
Mm-hmm. But you feel like there's more risk in option because
of course
you'll lose your entire investment if
right.
it or whatever you put in because of
like Tim does like choppy price action, and I don't like that too, because the option will be like in a minute it's a green, and then in another minute you lost, and then in a minute yeah, so it's hard.
Yeah, you don't want a lot of choppiness when you're
no. But then at the same time, when we have the meme the like AMC today, it's so choppy by the end of the day, and it was the price action is just so fast, up and down, and you better just like get out and wait until it's
See, I was okay. So this morning I saw it around like 35. I saw the breakout level. I think was like $36. I'm like, okay, so if it spikes up, pulls back, holds that breakout level, I have my line there, I'm gonna buy that. Well, I ended up not getting into it when I had a perfect chance at 37. Oh, now I wish I would have. But I didn't see a clear pattern other than it actually dipped to like $35 and then started spiking. I saw it at 37, and I'm just like, I want to buy it because I was reading the chat with Karen, Mariana, and the other girls talking about getting into the stock and how they had good averages, and it's like, okay, well, am I buying because I see my setup that I can recognize and can replicate, or am I just kind of getting FOMO, wanting to chase and be in it because they're in it? So the only thing that I saw was that it dipped down to the breakout level. Didn't hold it perfectly, but if you watch trading tickers, breakouts don't necessarily hold it perfectly. And then it started going. Well, I decided to just stay out because I felt like my ideas weren't mine, and so I missed that entire run. But you were saying that at the end of the day, AMC was all choppy. That's the only time I saw a pattern that I actually recognized, because it was that spike consolidation where it was all choppy and then it kind of smoothed out a little bit and then it spiked. So I got in at 65.50, just one share, and then it spikes to $71, and I was really tempted to just lock in profits there. If I had a lot bigger size, I 100% would have, and that's the pattern that I look for. But because I had the one share size, I was like, all right, well, this isn't detrimental. This is a good time to just kind of slow down and actually try the pattern that I've been wanting to, because it'll spike, consolidate, you buy when it spikes. Usually I sell into that strength, but sometimes they'll pull back and then hold that level and then go higher, and then you risk that pullback level. So that's what I did. It ended up, let's see, I think $67.20 roughly was the bottom of that initial pullback. When it broke below that, I had my sell order for $66.50. I ended up getting out for $66.70. But you saw that it was choppy, and that's where I actually saw my pattern, and it was a great opportunity to practice even though it was like after hours where you don't necessarily trade. I don't know. It's just weird, but it's cool that you saw that it was choppy, and then that's the only time where I saw like clearly a setup I recognize and was able to practice a plan that I've been meaning to.
I felt like the midday was the choppy part of AMC, where it was just parabolic, really vertical, really back up. And that's where Mari just like killed it, because she was shorting the parabolics, covering the pullbacks, buying the dips, selling, and all very quickly, like within like 2-3 minutes each time. And I think I'm pretty sure she had a core from earlier in the day that she sold on the way up and held that longer. But just the ability to play those very quick volatile moves, is just fascinating to me. So
it is. One time I was playing option with Tesla, and I did that too. Like I did the call option, and I know it's gonna go reverse, and then it pulled back. I took the put option, and I make both way money. But right now I don't do that anymore because I'm working full time, and I just can't, because I'm risking my hard-earned money. I don't want to lose it, because with the option, you lose money so fast, but you also make money so fast. And sometimes if you just don't take your profit, that's it. And then it's just going to go down, and then you kind of like, oh, I'm hoping. I don't want it to go through that. I'm starting to eliminate that feeling, because that's not a good feeling. You just get over it and done, and you feel happy, and what a relief, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Karen, so what is your account size that you're using, if you don't mind my asking?
So I started with a $4,500 account, and then I just I got back to break even in January. I had lost about 1,000 of that. Got back to break even about mid-January, a little late January, and then I doubled that account last week. I finally doubled that account. So then that would have put me around 9,000, and then as a reward for myself for doubling my account, I added some more funds. So now I'm trading with about around 15,000. So, but
impressive.
Up until now, it's just been that 4,500, and trying to build that.
So what size of positions were you taking in the beginning to grow that? Because I was talking with Mariana, and she was saying, we were both doing the same thing, where we were taking like small size, we were winning, but then all of a sudden the commissions ate us and ate our accounts, and all of a sudden we're down when we thought we were up. Did you experience that with OTCs? Were you trading OTCs listed? Like, how did you end up doubling it?
So yes, commissions have eaten a ton of my profits. So I keep track of how much is commissions and how much is actual profit for me. And most months I'm paying about 40% of all my profits go to commissions. So even with my not bigger size, but even as I've increased my size, I feel like a lot of it is getting taken from that. Initially, so for the first year, I pretty much just traded NASDAQs up until December. But I was following Tim Sykes on the OTC market and watching what he was doing. I was just scared because of the commissions. So I was practicing dip buys on NASDAQs. And then once I felt comfortable with dip buys, then I switched over to the OTC market. And then I had to kind of relearn. But I was lucky to come into the OTC market when dip buys were just like, you could dip buy anything and it would like respike to the highs, and like, it would go on a 2, 3, 4 day run, right? So back in January, that's all I was doing. I would dip buy panics, and they were happening 2-3 times every single day. So there was like just tons of opportunity, like to the point where, because I was a cash account, I was telling my husband, I was like, I don't have enough. I see more of my perfect setups, and I can't trade them because I don't have enough money for it. I don't have enough settled funds for it, right? So that so I was using about $1,000 per trade at the beginning. So I had $2,000 a day, and I would limit myself. I had two trades. And so I was just very, very particular. Like, if I'm going to use these 2 trades that I have, it has to be the perfect setup.
That makes sense.
So, and because there were so many of them, I had like my choice of like 15, right? You know, I just had to choose the one that fit me the best. That's how in January and February I was able to really grow it. And then March and April, it really slowed down. My percent wins have dropped like half of what they were, like my average percent win, because dip buys just aren't bouncing as much as they were, or as
like
quickly as
all
they
day,
were. So
it seems like.
That's right. They're just more choppy. So I'm still profiting the most on panic dip buys, and I have increased my size, but I'm making about the same amount as I was in January and February, because there's just not as much opportunity for it. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like when I was using $1,000 positions, I was only getting into the stock if I knew I had the likelihood of making 10% on it. Like my goal was to make 10% at that
Which was
point.
like everything back then. Oh, I miss those days.
That's right. Everything was bouncing so much that you could take 10% and it would go another 30.
Easily.
Yeah, exactly. It was
so you know, I was trying to use $1,000. 1% of that was going to go to commissions, you know, $10 to commissions, knowing that I was attempting to make 5, 6, 7, 8, 9%, you know, 5 to 10%, and then I would make that extra $40, $30, $50, $60, whatever it was. So it's been slow. Like, I feel like there's so many people that are just exploding in their profits. You know, and to me, I'm like, this has been a hot market for 4 months, and I feel like I'm so slow at growing it. But it really has just been like over and over, 3%, 4%, 5% gains every day, 2 or 3 of those every day, with, you know, some losses in there as well, but it just has added up. So.
And then taking that $1,000 size to cover the commissions. That's what I'm gonna start doing this month. I was doing about $700 every trade last month, so that way I could still feel comfortable taking the trades, getting familiar with the patterns, but being able to finally cover commissions after the past 2-3 months of losing $200 or $300 a month because of commissions. Because percent wise I was green, but because I was staying so small, and that's what Joel Sykes, Tim's dad, was having me do, just to really focus on the process over profits and get over my, I guess, fear of losing the dollars by making me lose the dollars. And then now taking $1,000 position size on the A+ setups, and then like $700 size on setups that I've been studying thanks to you, Mariana, and the other girls in the chat, and then just getting familiar with those from there too, but having just enough to cover the commissions.
I think one of the things that I've done is, like, I keep track of what the setup name is that I trade, right? And so then at the end of the month, I go through and calculate how much of my profits came from each type of setup, how much percentage. I'm sorry, I need to close the door here. The kids are going to get loud. So I'll keep track of also what my percent win is for each type of setup. And then at the end of the month, I've just done this last couple of months, at the end of the month, on the setups that are giving me the most profits, I'm sizing up the next month on those, and just on those.
That makes sense. That's similar to what I'm doing. I never thought of calculating the percentage of the profits of the trades for that month. I've been doing the dollars like what Jackaroo does, if you watch his YouTube videos, but percentages, that's a great idea.
And so, like, for the month of April, I had 100% win rate on panic device. Some of them were scratch, like I was only making 1% or 2%, but my win rate was, and then in May it was like 93% or something like that for that setup. So now I'm like, okay, I know how to play this setup, and I've seen it proven by the last 2 or 3 months in my stats. So now I'm going to bump that up to like a $3,000 position this month and see for the entire month how that goes, trying to keep that consistent so that across wins and losses it's the same, and see if my edge plays out over this month. So does that make sense? Like,
I love it. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then everything else keeping at a lower, $1,000 or $1,500 for things that I know I don't have as high of a win percentage on.
Yeah, I love it.
Karen, that's amazing, because you are stick to what you are comfortable with and just keep repeating until you know that it works for you. And just like 1 or 2 patterns that it start to, like, this is what we learned at the very beginning when we're learning how to do trading. And then when you added the position, that is not always works out, because you put more mental and emotion with that. It's like, oh, I put more money. You added more stress into the trading, which you're not supposed to. And then you're going to have to see how well are you doing. Is it still constantly making profit for you? And then if not, pull back again and start.
That's right.
Smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it's like a month-to-month thing to evaluate. Right. Could I handle that next level of size and risk? Was I cutting things short because I was scared of that risk? Or, and for me, I'm very scared of risk. So I really have to push myself to do that.
That makes sense. Well, I got that we have only a couple minutes left. 5 minutes left.
So I do have a question, real quick here. I was trading listed stocks as well, and it's not for me. So I'm trying to switch to OTC, and that's what I have been really studying about. I am doing the 30 days bootcamp from Teams. So I just have a question. How did you guys, talking about OTC, did you find what stocks are you going to trade? Like, what scanner do you use? Do you use stock to trade? Because I don't have that, so I don't want to buy until I
don't use it.
So how do you find the hot stock, or are you like in a chat room, or what do you do?
I'm in the girls chat room, but I use the Thinkorswim platform, and there are scanners that you can build in that. But I would say this, that typically I don't trade the first spike. So I'm trying to just trade the stocks after they've proven that they have volume and that they have eyes on them. So I'm not trying to catch that beginning move, but if you have a high percent or a high, what do they call it? A high
gainer.
Like a scanner for high percent gainers.
A top percent gainers.
Yeah, because I use that scanner as well. And I was reading, I text Mariana and she replied me on Instagram. I'm like, yes, what do you use? So she told me, but honestly, when I run the scan, it basically is a lot. And I go one by one, so I filter by volume, and then when I look at the chart, it's like it doesn't move. Or when I look at top percent, it's like I'm doing something wrong.
If you message me, since we don't have too much time left, message me on Twitter. You have Twitter, right?
Yes, I actually messaged it already.
Okay, so message me on Twitter, and I can give you talk to you about scripts to trade, and they'll be able to help you with an OTC scanner.
All right.
So message me there. Make sure it's me, not the scammers.
If you go to Vinvis and there's like a lot of option, I think you can choose OTC or other.
Definitely Vinvis.
Yeah.
Yes, I have done that, but it's like there are so many. Like if you filter volume or top gainers, you find like a lot. So I just don't know what I should trade. Then I'm going to Twitter. Okay, what's people talking about? And then I just I will do it, but it takes a little bit. But thank you for sharing. I will use text to you so you can walk me through. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you all for chatting. I don't know if this is just going to show up or not.
You.
I just thank you all for
Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for your time and everything. And Tessa, I'm always watching your Profitly videos. It's really amazing. Like I'm slowly improving in my OTC with your spike consolidation spike. I'm still watching it, so please continue to do that.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear. Yes, keep practicing. I've been studying it for like a year.
Tessa is the first person I was like, oh my goodness, I wanted to be like her one day.
Now you're better. I want to be like you.
Right. Sorry, me and you, we both work in the medical field, so it's like very hard, you know, to trade full time and then, you know, do all those things.
It is hard. It is hard, but you know, I think I'm more laid back now. I'm not aggressive anymore, and it's been working better for me because then I only pick what is the best setup for me.
I have to tone it down. I have to be less aggressive. And I agree with Shasha. She's logged off of Profitly chat room because of like the FOMO. And the same thing with me. Like I haven't posted Profitly since end of February just because I have that FOMO and I'm trying to work it out by constantly.
It is a lot of distraction. That's why I don't go into chat anymore because I feel like I wanted to be FOMO and I can't handle that. I think it's like if you have your me time, just do what's best for you and it's gonna work out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, all right, ladies, I think we're all getting ready to go. The time's, I think, probably up any minute. So, we'll get together in the Twitter chat room and get something organized for next time, probably a couple weeks from now. But thank you all for sharing.
Thank you, bye, guys.
Thank you, Tessa, for setting it up. Appreciate it.
Oh, it was Melissa. It's all Melissa. She's the boss.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls.
Bye, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.